Our minds possess a default setting, a gravitational pull toward problems. We dissect what's wrong, dwell on obstacles, and replay failures. This instinct, while perhaps once protective, now acts as a mental trap. It amplifies stress, clouds judgment, and paralyzes action. The core philosophy presented here is a deliberate counter-move, the cultivation of a relentless solution focus. This is not naive optimism or ignoring difficulties. It is a disciplined, systematic retraining of your cognitive habits to bypass the spiral of problem-centric thought and immediately orient toward constructive action. The human brain, for all its power, tends to fixate on threats and shortcomings. This problem-centric mode floods our system with cortisol, the stress hormone, which in turn fuels anxiety, fear, and frustration. It narrows our perspective, making us more likely to make poor decisions. The alternative is not merely to think positive, but to engage in solution-focused thinking. This shift triggers the release of neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which enhance mood, clarity, and motivation. The transition is about changing your brain's chemical and structural pathways, moving from a state of reactive stress to one of proactive clarity. The practical method begins with a simple, powerful tool. The moment you recognize a negative thought pattern taking hold, that familiar swirl of worry or complaint, you interrupt it with a specific question: what is one thing I can do to make this better? The critical rule is to pose this question within 60 seconds of the negative thought's emergence. This time limit prevents the cortisol cascade from gaining full momentum. The one thing need not solve the entire problem. It must simply represent a tangible step toward improvement. It could be as simple as making a phone call, researching an option, or drafting the first sentence of a difficult email. The act of identifying and executing that single action breaks the cycle of helplessness and establishes a new pattern of agency. Often, the first solution you identify may not work. The relentless part of the mindset is key. If your initial action doesn't resolve the situation, you return to the same question. All right, that didn't work. What is now one thing I can do to make this better? You iterate, persistently and without self-judgment, until you find a path forward. This process was illustrated by the author's own experience with a patchy lawn. Frustration led to the initial solution of hiring an expensive service, which was impractical. Rather than giving up, he asked the question again, eventually landing on the simple, effective action of asking his neighbor for advice. The solution was not in the first idea, but in the persistent commitment to finding one. For larger, more complex challenges, the strategy is to deconstruct them. Overwhelming problems breed paralysis. The solution-focused mind attacks them by breaking them down into small, manageable pieces. You cannot solve financial security in one afternoon, but you can create a budget for this month. You cannot fix a strained relationship in a single conversation, but you can commit to one act of kindness or clear communication. By converting a monolithic problem into a series of concrete, actionable steps, you transform anxiety into a plan. Each small victory, each completed step, releases positive reinforcement, building momentum and confidence. Implementing this mindset requires treating it as a skill to be developed, like a muscle. This means creating a personal training strategy. Start by consciously applying the one thing question to minor daily irritations: a messy kitchen, a delayed commute. This builds the neural circuitry. Practice recognizing the physical and emotional signals of problem-centric thought: a clenched jaw, a sense of dread, spiraling worries. Use these signals as your cue to pivot. Furthermore, adopt a mental workout routine. Begin each day by identifying one specific area you want to improve and one action you will take. End the day by acknowledging one thing you did well. This ritual builds mental toughness and reinforces the solution-oriented identity. A major barrier to this mindset is perfectionism, which is often just problem-centric thought in disguise, a fixation on what is not flawless. The solution-focused approach rejects this. It champions improvement over perfection. Instead of asking, "Is this perfect?" ask, "Is this better than it was?" Recognize and celebrate progress, however incremental. This shift removes the paralyzing fear of failure and reframes effort as a series of forward-moving experiments. Ultimately, this is more than a problem-solving technique. It is a foundational shift in how you engage with reality. It replaces a passive, reactive stance with an active, creative attack mentality. You move from being a commentator on your problems to being the architect of your solutions. The benefits extend beyond achievement. By systematically reducing stress and cultivating agency, You invest in your long-term health, happiness, and resilience. The relentless solution focus is the deliberate choice to direct your mind's immense energy not on what is broken, but on the next step you can take to build something better.